guys, so today I'm going to be doing a video on what it's like growing up in Dubai or living in Dubai, especially as a girl or a woman. So yeah, first I'd like to just talk about generally growing up in Dubai. I've been here since I was 3 and now I'm 18, so I've seen Dubai grow up from like this to what it is like now, which is this. And yeah, so I can officially say that I've lived here since like before it was cool. So my dad works with Emirates and he has done since we moved here, which means that I've been able to travel a lot, which gives me quite a large basis for comparison between here and other countries. I've also been in an English-speaking school or college my whole life. And yes, I have had to learn Arabic up until year 9, but I can kind of say that I haven't really properly learned much of it. I can read it, but I won't know what it says. And honestly, on a whole, the lifestyle here is pretty great, honestly. I mean, I can't really fault it, except for the hot weather, which is, right now, it's summertime, so it can get pretty hot, like up to 50 degrees, maybe even higher occasionally. But for the most part, it's totally fine because everyone here has ACs, or you just go hang out in the shopping malls. Now, there are a lot of misconceptions about Dubai, I believe. Some people think Dubai is like Saudi, especially for women, and I can say it's definitely not. There's also the misconception that you can't buy pork or alcohol here, and you can buy pork, it's probably more expensive, but there's like a separate section, and also alcohol. You can buy it as a tourist in hotels, etc., but if you're living here, to buy it in the actual liquor stores, you have to have a license, which is probably better than just being able to buy it anyway. It's more safe. And there's also that misconception that Dubai is basically a desert. Now, it's in a desert, but it is not a desert. And I think, if you look at things like Mission Impossible, yeah, it doesn't look like that here. I think they're sort of painting the wrong picture of Dubai. It is quite modern. And I think, that obviously that misconception has been wiped away in the past couple of years because everyone knows Dubai is quite a modern city. Now, if you think of it statistically, 85% of the population here in Dubai are actually expatriates. And because of that, it is a very westernized city, and it's probably one of the most liberal cities in the Middle East. And not only that, but Dubai gets a large proportion of its income from the tourism industry, and because of that, they're quite lenient when it comes to what you wear and how you dress, etc., especially in touristic places such as Dubai Mall. Now, I'm not saying that you should disrespect the laws and wear, a crop top and shorts to the mall. But what I'm saying is that they won't be as harsh on you if you're unaware of the laws and the rules, etc. here, because they don't want any bad publicity about Dubai or to scare off all the tourism, because it is such a large aspect of Dubai as a city. Also, having grown up here, I can say that I'm a lot more globalized than I would have been if I'd just grown up in Australia. I have friends from all corners of the globe, including the locals in Dubai, and all of the kids that I went to school with are so varied in ethnicity that it has actually made me more culturally aware and even more interested in other cultures. And yeah, so Dubai is such an international hub. It's like you realize just how many other cultures there are out there, and that your culture is not the only one, and your way of life is not the only way of life, and that it's not necessarily the right way either. There is no right way, and everyone lives their lives differently. Now, to talk about being a woman specifically, I can honestly say with a whole heart that I feel a lot safer actually walking around Dubai on my own, whether it be in the streets, in the malls, than I actually do when I walk around Australia when I'm back there on holiday. Like, I take the metro literally everywhere, and they have so much respect for women in that they actually have a whole entire section of the metro specifically for women. And yeah, to some that might seem sexist, but it also means that I can travel in a lot more safety at like 12 p.m. at night and later, and that I can have a lot more freedom without feeling threatened. And yes, there are those shock horror stories, but if I'm being honest, where does bad stuff not happen in the world? It happens everywhere. And to be honest, to those horrible stories, there's not much that I can say because obviously I haven't experienced it personally, and from what I can see, it is quite a rare occurrence. But on a whole, I can say that sometimes it does feel that women don't have as much of a legal standing here, because men do sometimes need to give their wives, etc., permission to do certain things. For example, I think a husband has to allow his wife to drive, and women aren't necessarily considered as high in social status as males, but I can say honestly that here we are actually a lot more respected, especially by the locals. Like, for example, you wouldn't get as many catcalls, etc. as you would in other countries. And I honestly think that Western media has painted any sort of Middle Eastern country with one branding, and that is that it is bad or unsafe for women. And quite frankly, from my experience of the past, almost 16 years of living here, I can honestly say that is not the case, at least not for me. And I'm honestly, in fact, glad that I've grown up in Dubai. Although I don't get as much freedom in terms of wearing shorts and all that stuff to the mall, I can honestly say that I've grown to respect myself in that I don't feel like I have to wear showy clothes. I've actually learned that modesty can be an attractive thing. Now, I'm not saying that you don't respect yourself if you do wear showy clothes, but I'm just saying that it is totally normal for me just to wear like jeans to the mall or to my friend's house, wherever I go, and it's not strange because I don't feel like I'm being frigid or like I'm out of place as I may in other countries. And the way that I like to put it is that it's more like there is no pressure to show off, rather than feeling restricted as to what you can wear. But what annoys me is that when I go on holidays or when I go back home to Australia, people always ask me, and in fact even tell me, that as a female I mustn't have freedom here or that I must feel suppressed living here, when they haven't even been here themselves. And having lived here in Dubai for now coming up on 16 years, I can honestly say that that's not the case. And like, especially before Dubai was well known, I remember even my cousins, they asked me if I got harassed on the buses or whatever, or even if shootings were a common occurrence. Like, where do you even get that from? Awareness of what Dubai is really like has gotten a bit better now, but I don't even know where people get these kind of ideas from. Maybe I just don't watch enough bad Western news about the Middle East. But yeah, finishing on that and all those misconceptions, I just like to say there's also this whole community called expat women. I'll put the link in the description. And although I don't use it personally, I know many mums, including my own, that use it at some point or another. And it's really useful to find out information and just chat with other women that are in Dubai who are expatriates. But yeah, so to finish, I mean, I love it here. If you're coming here, if you're thinking about coming here, I'd just like to say there's nothing to be worried about, honestly, at least from my experiences, and having lived here for the past 16 years, I mean, it's quite a while, so. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe and like and all of that. And yeah, so I will see you soon with another video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.